Hello, hello, hello. Welcome in. Welcome into Who Are You Really? The very first episode of my very first podcast. I'm Maeve Morveren. I am the Globie Gen 3 Hexokai's older sister, Selkie. And if you don't know what a Selkie is, figure it out. And today, our very first episode special guest is Scrimimi, a fellow Hexokai member. Hello, Mimi.
Hello, Maeve.
Hello, hello. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hello, my name is Mimi. I am from Gen 3 Hexokai. I am a Sazit, excuse me, I am a Sazit Ernie. Okay, I'm a slimy snail girl, ready to, I don't know, I don't have a special VTuber intro. I'm just here because I want to talk and I want to find out who I am really, to be honest.
Yeah, that's my favorite little thing, right? I was planning on doing this poll, but I feel at this point, starting with you, it'll be like, do you know who you are? And usually the answer is no,
No,
right?
I don't.
Yeah. I think we were actually just talking about that a little bit earlier, in which we were saying how there's so many different sides of us that even we don't know other sides of us.
Hmm.
Do you feel that way?
I do, yeah. I mean, I mentioned this to my own community, but not to get existential or depressing or anything, but I think that we're never really going to be able to reveal our true selves to anyone because we all kind of have a mask that we put on when we talk to different people. And a mask isn't necessarily like a good or a bad thing, but like we all act a certain way around certain people. And I think, I don't know what I'm saying, but like, I think
No, I
I
completely
don't know where I'm going with
agree.
this.
No, I completely agree and I completely understand. I think it's so funny. I've had conversations with people where they genuinely feel like, oh, do you ever feel like you're being fake or this or that? Because I'm not the
Hmm.
same person as I am with you. I'm not the same person as I am with all of you, as I am with, let's say, my mother, for example, right?
Mhm, mhm.
And I think, well, no, I'm not necessarily being fake. I think that no, it's lucky. I'm quite three-dimensional. Can you believe it? And
Mhm,
we just all
mhm.
have a lot of different.
VTubing,
Yeah,
3D.
exactly. As a VTuber, I'm quite
Mhm.
three-dimensional, even though I'm a two-dimensional drawing.
Mhm, mhm, mhm.
um, yeah, yeah.
There's
Do you?
lots of layers to us.
There's a lot of layers. Have you ever heard of like personality reverting, in which like you'll revert to a certain type of way of speaking or personality or interests when you speak with other people during that time that you had that interest?
I don't think I've heard of that specific saying, but
Mm-hmm.
that makes me think of like whenever I watch certain content creators, I think it's like, I don't know, I have a tendency to like mimic the way people can talk if I talk with them for long enough. So I'll end up like laughing the same way they laugh or something. But I think that's a spectrum on the spectrum thing, to be honest. I don't think that's like a personality thing, but I've not heard
Really?
of that. What did you say? Is it personality reverberating?
Like a reverberate river. I don't know if that's an actual full word, but it's almost like when you're reverting your personality. For example, like how I would usually carry myself now from a day-to-day basis, but if I spoke to somebody maybe 10 years ago that all I did was fangirl about Tom Hiddleston with them, like maybe suddenly we'll continue speaking about Tom Hiddleston even though I did not speak about Tom Hiddleston for the last like 3 to 4 years.
I see, I see. Okay. Yeah, no, I get that. I get that. Like I've had friends that I haven't interacted with in like a year, but whenever I meet up with them, we always have like the same kind of jokes and kind of discussions just cuz like I I don't know if it's like a as falling into the kind of like how do I say us falling into the same kind of way that we just are when we're together, or if it's like
Mhm.
we get that familiarity of being together that we kind of just remember the things we want to talk about. But yeah, I get that.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's something that I didn't really think about until I watched the show How I Met Your Mother, and they said revertigo, and I thought, oh yeah,
Mm-mm.
I kind of do that. But I know what you mean with like watching other content creators, and then suddenly you're starting to pick up small things about them that you're adopting, right? Mirroring, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So, do you often watch a lot of content creators on your free time?
Yeah, I mean, I guess something I failed to mention in my intro is that I love movies, and it's a big thing with what I want to do with my content. So I watch a lot of movies in my downtime, but I do watch content creators. Funnily enough, most of the content creators I watch are like human, not VTuber creatures. Like I love this content creator called Jesse Cox. He has like a group of people called he calls the Scary Games Squad, and they all just get together in a room and play scary games together, and it's hilarious. And I've been watching it for years, and it's like one of my favorite things. I was actually watching it today, and it's like one of my favorite things to watch. Is just a bunch of guys goofing off in a room, and they do lots of movie references as well. And I've only realized that recently as well.
Now suddenly
But
you realize, oh, that makes sense. That's probably why I watch them.
yeah, like they played like a game, and then they like reference Jaws right as they
Hmm.
beat the final boss, and I'm like, oh, I get that now, because I only fully watched Jaws like a year ago or something.
Oh, so they started referencing things that you liked even before you knew you liked them.
Yeah, so it's like fun to watch those videos back and be like, oh, I get what they were meaning now. Whereas before I was like, I don't know what that means, but I thought they were just
Right.
making a silly quip. But yeah, no, I love watching content creators, and yeah, I think it's why I wanted to be a VTuber in the first place, is because I know it's a bit cringy, but I grew up watching people like PewDiePie and Jacksepticeye and like Cinnamon Toast Ken, and just them making like silly jokes and gaming together and being their weird selves was really
Mm-hmm.
inspiring to me.
That's really sweet. I mean, would we may be cringe, but we are free, as they say.
Yeah.
But realistically, I mean, I think that cringe is just it's just another word to say like a geek or a nerd, and all those things are completely opinionated as well, right?
Yeah.
I started watching Jacksepticeye recently, like this year recent. So if you
Oh.
feel like it's cringe back then, full adult Selkie already is still just learning about Jacksepticeye, basically, right?
What do you
Um,
watch from him?
I watch him doing playthroughs of games, and this is my quite really interesting little quip, I think, which is that I sometimes I watch and then sometimes I just majority of the time I say I watch a content creator, but really I just turn on the TV and then either I eat or I live my life or I'm on my phone or I'm sleeping. Like I
Yeah.
can't imagine the amount of times where I'll turn somebody on, and this has happened to you also. Like, I'll turn your stream on, I'll say a few words, pick up on a couple parts of the conversation, and then I'll go, okay, it's time for a nap. So it's
Yeah,
time for
that's
a nap.
totally fine though.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I still seep your content in because I've noticed that I'll start doing little dreams that have to do with you or your content, and I'll wake up in the middle of the night and go, oh, right, we were watching Mimi.
I love that. Yeah, but I mean, like, that's why lurkers are such an important, like, the lurkers are the lifeblood of being a content creator and a streamer. Like, I grew up never commenting really on any kind of videos. I just watched them,
Mm-hmm,
and
mm-hmm.
for the most part, when I first started watching live streamers, I never messaged because I felt too awkward. But like, without lurkers and people that just listen and watch while they're doing other things like chores or in their downtime or while they're sleeping, I don't think live streaming would be as big as it is.
That's a very interesting way of really thinking about that. Do you feel like you're mostly a lurker as well then? Or do you still lurk, do you think?
I think, uh, I I am definitely a lurker. I think, I always have content creation and things on my second monitor while I'm doing other things, and
Mm.
I'm quite awkward as well, so, like, I'll run out of things to say, and then I'll be like, "Oh, I've gotta go do some chores and, busy snail stuff," and so I'll just be like, "Hey, I've gotta go," but it's actually just because like, maybe my social battery is a bit low, so,
Mhm,
yeah.
mhm.
I'll just be like, "Yeah, I gotta go," but I'll still be hanging out in the stream a little bit. But like I don't know, it's difficult. I think like if I say I'm gonna go, I'm actually gonna go, but sometimes I will just lurk just because it's like it's nice to not have people say hi to you sometimes. It's nice to just
Right,
exist there.
right, right. I can completely
Mhm.
understand. I'm a opposite in a different in a very interesting way where I usually won't say anything. I mean, yes, I'll say a thing here or there just to say hello. And luckily, I feel like most of us, even if we were new into content creation, it seems most of us know that people lurk or people might not always want to speak. So they
Mhm.
just so we just kind of ignore them if they don't answer. But then I'll hear you, for example, like I'll hear you say something about a movie, and then as I'm laying in bed about to nap, I'll like sit up and go, "Oh, about that movie, blah 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 blah."
I
Oh
totally
gosh.
understand that. Yeah. Like I think we've all suffered the about to sleep, but then sudden message inspiration comes to us moments.
Right, right, right. Do you ever have that thing where you like are about to sleep and then suddenly you remember a conversation from like 2 days ago when you're like, I should have said that. Oh man,
Oh no,
I
I've
remember
had
the name
that.
now.
I've had it where like I get that. I thought you were gonna say, do you have it where you remember something from a few years ago? And I'm like, yeah, but no,
Yep, that too.
yeah,
That
no,
too.
I totally get that with like the conversation thing for recent because I mean I have a tendency and I'm doing my best to like improve this, but I have a tendency to like speak before thinking fully just because I I'm a very like emotional driven person and I'm very
Mm-hmm.
passionate and I try not to let myself overthink, but I think me not thinking before speaking sometimes is like, the opposite of overthinking. But I think sometimes I'll like lay in bed and I'll think, man, I should have said this when I was talking to someone, or I forgot to mention this and I have to write that in my to-do list for like make sure to update so and so about this thing. But yeah, no, I get that. Like I definitely suffer from overthinking about conversations from like days ago.
Right, right, absolutely. I think somebody I had my day off yesterday and so I was able to catch a bit of food with a friend and we were both trying to remember somebody's name and I said if we don't remember by the time that we leave, I will wake up in the middle of the night going, "Right, Enrico." Oh gosh. Yeah.
What, you just made up a name for them?
No, I just mean, like, I'll suddenly remember in the middle of the night or right before I go to bed, and then I'll
Oh
suddenly go, "Oh, man,
no.
right, insert name here," right? Yeah,
I got you, I got you. I don't
right,
know
right.
any Enricas, so I can't fully relate, but I got you, I got you.
Right, right, right. Earlier we were talking about mirroring. Since you watch so many films and movies, and other sorts of media, do you find yourself mirroring non your non-native accent very often ever?
I mean, like, I find it where when I'm talking to you, I really want to talk in like, like I want to pronounce my T's differently. Like
Oh.
yeah, so I did it like a minute ago where I was like because the way I usually pronounce my T's is so like I'll say like um water or no, that's so cliche.
That is the
Or
most
like
right,
oh
the classic British.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But the way you say it is like water,
Water, water with a
like a
D.
like a like a duh, like a dr, and I'm like
Mhm.
I like want to say it as well. I actually looked into this like half a year ago, but
Oh.
I think I might actually have something called echopraxia. And it
Mm.
doesn't like crop up for the most part, but like I mean, I've not been diagnosed. This is just me like analyzing myself. But
Right.
I had it for a while and I do get it every now and again where basically echopraxia is like it's sort of like a form of Tourette's, and
Mm.
it's the need to it's the like vicious need to mimic what someone is doing. And I specifically get it when I see someone crossing their eyes, and it makes me want to cross my eyes really really bad. Like it's really silly,
Oh.
but there's an episode of this comedy show called The IT Crowd, and there's this episode dedicated to like people who have crossed eyes, and whenever I watch that I just can't help but cross my eyes when I see them do it. And it's like I can't help it. It's just like an impulse. But it's the same when I'm like hanging around certain people like you. I want to say my T's differently. Well, it's not even that I want to, it's
Mm.
just like my mouth kind of just does it. And I like I've noticed, like as I said, like I grew up watching PewDiePie. I noticed for quite a few years in my like early teens that my laugh would change based on the way his laugh was. And I was like, why is
Mm.
this? Why is this? I don't understand why, but that's just kind of how I've been for a while. I don't know why I mirror, but I do. Maybe it's because I'm so shiny, I just and glossy, I just wanna become a mirror.
That's adorable. You do it naturally. You do it
Mhm,
naturally.
mhm.
Yeah, I wonder also because then there's that echoproxia as you were mentioning, and then there's just good old fashioned mirroring, and I wonder where that line is. You know what I mean?
What is good old-fashioned mirroring, can I ask?
Yeah, of course. I mean, good old fashioned mirroring is basically what you would describe as, you're watching somebody else and then you kind of adopt some of their the way that they speak or some of the vocabulary that they would use and small things like that.
Mm.
And so now I'm trying to wonder, I've never heard of echoproxia, but where is that line of copying each other essentially?
I mean,
Yeah.
they say that everyone is a mixture of the 5 people that they are closest to.
Oh, well, that's terrifying to
Um
me. I do not want to be a
Well
mixture of my mother with anything.
well, I mean, like, I think you'll like pick and choose what you like you'll use yourself, but like I think it means like I guess like the people that you are most inspired by in your life, that you surround
Mhm.
yourself by, or the people that I mean, I don't know if you talk to your mother a lot, but the people that you talk to the most. Um and
Mm.
yeah, I don't know. I heard that a while ago, and I was like, that kind of makes sense. Though, like at the time, I didn't really like have any friends. I just watched like YouTube, so I was like, yeah, no, that makes sense for all the content creators I watch. I am like
As
a
a young
mixture of these 5 content creators.
that is so funny. That is so funny. Because then if anybody can imagine Mimi just walking around being, speaking cringe content creator out in the wild.
Oh god, I will lay awake at night remembering cringe stuff that I did from a while ago.
Really. Do you have one that you're willing to share?
Oh, well, this isn't necessarily cringe, but I remember, I mean, this isn't relating to like content creation, but like something that like keeps me up at night every now and again is I'll remember like when I was like 9 years old and we went to the bowling alley, and I must have just been having a bad day or something, because there was like a little girl who's like the same age as me, so a girl, and she was
Mhm.
having like a birthday party, and I saw that she had like a birthday cake, and I just had like a strange moment of like I just want to mess their party up, and I grabbed a whole bunch of sachets of black pepper from the like hot dog stand, and I just poured it all over the birthday cake when everyone was bowling when they weren't looking, and and I got in so much trouble. And even to this day, like this is over a decade ago, and I think about it and I'm like, why did I do that? Why did I just randomly decide to pour all this pepper on this girl's birthday cake? And I know that this isn't relating to content creation, but like that's like one of the main ones that I think about, and I'm like, what was going on with Mimi back then that I just decided to do that?
Mimi, I have a
There's
question for
definitely more
you.
stories, but oh, go on.
Have you ever had a birthday that was kind of like that? Like where you were able to kind of celebrate it, at a place, or have a nice cake for yourself, or where a lot of people kind of give you the attention. Have you ever had that?
Yeah, no, I have had that. I didn't do it because I was jealous. I
Okay,
did it.
just in case.
No.
Just out of curiosity.
No, I have had that.
Okay.
I think like I think I I think I just was going through a lot as a child. I think
Hmm.
my parents didn't like understand me fully, and I like women in general are very underrepresented in terms of getting diagnosed for mental health problems,
Yep.
because in the when women are diagnosed for mental health problems and disorders and the like, they go off symptoms that are found in men, but women show different symptoms when it comes to things like depression and anxiety and ADHD. So growing up, my mother always really wanted, she was like obsessed with like getting my brother diagnosed for ADHD, but I am almost 100% sure that I also have ADHD, but women are a lot better at masking their symptoms when it comes to these things. So I never got like proper nurturing for my own like mental growth. So
Hmm.
this is a long-winded way of me saying I think I was just like a psycho child.
I mean, the term psycho is a
Well,
bit
just for me,
specific. Yeah.
no one else,
No,
just
no,
me.
that's
I
understandable. But at the same time, it's really just, you in need of some, like, people really watching you, right?
Yeah,
And
I
like
don't know.
really
It
noticing
was
some of
a
that.
I think I was just a sad and like I think I was just a sad child, to be honest. I would love to go to a shrink and be like, "Can you tell me why I put pepper on my girl's birthday cake when I was a child?"
Oh my goodness. I'm sure there's plenty. They'll come up with almost everything for it, and
Mhm.
then you won't want to hear it, because this has happened to me now, where I have gone, and I have thought, and all I do is I speak about my day, and then they'll ask me something like, "Have you ever thought that this?" And I sit there and I'm like, "Wait a minute. Oh my God, you're right." And it's so terrifying. It's so terrifying.
What,
Um,
to like get a bit of more perspective on your own thoughts?
yes. Yeah, I think so. I mean, have you ever, has that ever happened to you where somebody has said, well, what if this is what you were thinking about yourself truly? And you sit there and you go, oh, I never thought about it like that before.
Mm, I can't think of an example off the top of my head, to be honest, because
Mm,
it's usually me that is questioning the meaning of life itself, not the people around me.
really, really.
It's usually me being quite philosophical and like, because I've mentioned on my own streams this week, but the human condition and psychology is exceedingly interesting to me. Like, to me, there is very little more interesting than what goes on in the human brain. So I can't think of a time when someone else has come to me and been like, "Have you ever thought about da da da?" Because I'm always thinking to myself, "Have you thought about da da da?"
Is that ever tiring?
Oh, it's exhausting. It's so exhausting. I think that is like with the ADHD thing is like I just have I have things constantly going through my mind. But I can't really help it. It's just kind of there, but I'll I find it hard to like sleep a lot of like at night because I'll just be laying there thinking about so many things all at once. It's like a whole freaking like compilation video playing in my head of my day, my thoughts, things I've experienced, the meaning of life. And
Wow.
it's fucking exhausting. Can I swear? Can I swear? Am I allowed to swear?
Yeah, you can totally swear.
It's fucking exhausting, to be honest. But I think I've just always been like this. Like I don't eat meat, and I haven't eaten meat for years. And the reason is because when I was younger, I just looked at my plate with the meat on it, and I got so existential thinking about this used to work together with other pieces of meat to form a living creature, and now it's on my plate, and like I think it's just been a thing for a long time with me.
Do you
But yeah.
do you ever do you wish that you weren't? Do you wish that you didn't?
No, no, not at all. I really enjoy thinking. Like I have a tendency to question a lot of things, and
Mhm.
I've had people that are like, "Huh, I didn't think of it like that."
Gonna
And
get little fake
I
plushies of you two
enjoy
and smoosh
I
your little faces
enjoy
together now. Kiss me, you are.
both thinking about different things myself, like, but I enjoy giving other people a new kind of outlook on life. Like I enjoy altering people's brain chemistry.
Mm, mm.
Sorry, I can't give an example, but like I so for example, like this isn't me like being philosophical or anything, but like I did like a slime stream yesterday, and someone was like, you know, I never thought about it, but I actually realized that I don't like slime. And they went on like a whole long like this was in the fan Discord. Apparently, they went on a whole. Don't worry, guys. I'm not like creeping on y'all in the fan Discord.
She's like, I'm not creeping on y'all, but I have mentioned something about the fan Discord at least once
No,
every
no.
stream.
No, listen. I saw this one thing and I thought it was interesting, but someone was like, "Yeah, like this is crazy. Like I've realized now that I don't like anything to do with slime or anything like that because like I remember when I was as a kid, I'd play with Play-Doh and I thought it was awful, and they were going about all these things, and I'm like, I have altered someone's brain chemistry like in this way, and that makes me happy. Not that they're like thinking about them being grossed out as a child or childhood trauma or anything, but like just knowing that I've like given someone a new perspective is like interesting. I know that's not like philosophical though, me just playing with slime, but
No, it can
sorry.
be. No, it completely can be because realistically, it's the basic. I feel like it's really just the understanding that you have impacted somebody's life, even when you don't know it or even when you couldn't imagine it, right? The smallest things can really truly impact somebody's life. Like just because, like let's say even yesterday, just because I went to the bathroom, you know, during this time, did somebody else go, oh yeah, I probably need to go to the bathroom, and then they probably missed something. Do you know what I mean? It's just something as small as that. And it's so funny. You know the Hawktua girl? So do you know her?
Where is this going? Where is this going?
Okay, this sounds ridiculous. It sounds ridiculous, but like the Hawktua girl probably it's there are friend groups out there. I said this because yesterday, not because of a Hawktua not because we have a hot to like a joke or anything, but I have another joke with my friend group. But just because of the hot to a girl, somebody's friend group somewhere out in the world probably gets together and laughs about that over and over again, and they probably mention it, and they probably imagine the visual of this girl doing that interview in their minds. And I couldn't imagine. This is hard, I feel like, as a content creator to really wrap your head around sometimes, that other people out there, even if they have told me directly, like, oh, you've changed my life, in my mind, I'm like, buddy, how? What do you mean? You know what I mean? Because all we do is we sit here and we're ourselves, and that could be incredibly helpful, but it's just so, it's hard to imagine, right? That like, wow, I've altered your brain chemistry. I've impacted you in some way. And so I was thinking about it yesterday going, man, that Hexokai girl probably doesn't even know that there are people like across the world from her that are still thinking about her right now. You know what I mean?
Do you think there are people that have had like their lives changed just from her saying "hawk to her"?
Yes. So this is what I can, it sounds ridiculous, but this is what I can imagine. What I can imagine is there's a friend group out there. It's because it's not impossible. There's a friend group out there who probably hasn't spoken consistently for a while, and then one of them maybe shared the video, and they all probably thought and had a good laugh about it, and then the next time they saw each other they all said something about it, and then now they're talking more consistently about any single time there's a little bit of news that the Hawk to a girl has, they like bring her up, and suddenly now they're talking like maybe they were not like starting to not get so close, and then she kind of brought them back to at least like, oh, every single time I think of the Hawk to a girl, I think of my friends, which sounds ridiculous, right? Which sounds ridiculous, but then you think about it, right? Don't you think? And it's so funny.
You really are such a romantic, Maeve.
And you know what? That's something that has actually changed the way. That's something that you said that has changed my brain chemistry and the way that I view myself. Because I had never considered ever that I was a romantic. And even though I have like nobody has told me that the way I think in this way can be like, oh, that's so romantic. Like I really didn't think so, or I never really noticed. And then you had said that one time, oh wow, like the way that you think about it. And I sat there and I go, oh, you're right. That is I guess I do have a romantic way of thinking. Like I guess I do have a really large amount of hope and care for, you know, humans and their romance and the way that they all probably try to find each other and such things. So if you want any direct relationship of a direct speaking of brain chemistry alteration, you've got it, because that's what happened. I've never been told. I've never thought about it. And then you said it and I went, oh, this is somebody who knows me. We don't know each other incredibly well. We know each other fairly okay, I think, because we're, you know, we work together and we're friends. But, you know, it's only been a couple months, right? And a lot of it was just a lot of speaking about work. And yet here you are. And yet here I am. And when you say that, I go, oh, wow. I guess you're right. I guess I can think of myself in this way now.
I think I have a tendency to notice patterns in people's behavior. So I guess I just noticed that. I mean, you mentioned that you've like every time you told me about a movie you love, I was like, oh, that's a romance, and that one's a romance. And then the way you speak, you're like so hopeful and positive, and like you said, like you want to see like the best in people, and I'm like, you are just like a very like a romantic is what I think. And
Yeah.
I mean, obviously that's just from me knowing, like we've only known each other since like the start of October. So like that is just my perception off of like a tiny amount of information. But I have been told recently that I give the vibe. This is, oh my gosh, I am so sorry if this makes me sound like
Not at all. This is you don't go ahead. Go ahead.
I don't mean to sound like I'm tooting my own horn.
No, not at all. Go ahead.
I had it recently where someone said that they feel like they almost know me, even though like they've only spoken to me like via a call and like
Mhm.
and everything, and like they said that I can be quite personable and
Mhm.
open, and I'm like, that's cool. Like, you know, I'm glad that I can give that vibe because I I'm just being me, you know.
Mhm.
I don't understand why anyone could or why they would fake being themselves, because that is so much more effort. And
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
I remember when I was thinking about even starting this journey being like a square mimi girl, you know, I was
Right.
like, should I play a character or should I just be me? And I was like, it's I don't I have so much respect for VTubers in this industry that can play characters and
Mhm.
be all
Mhm.
different kinds of people.
Right.
But for me personally, I am like I am really bad at like hiding my emotions, as I mentioned earlier in the call, and I I am okay with people just knowing me and talking to
Mhm.
me. Like I have nothing to hide. I just what was the question again? I don't remember what
Oh,
we were talking about.
I don't know. I don't remember. Well,
Oh
I think
man,
that's the
we're
thing.
we're
There's not even
dissolving.
yeah, well that's the beauty of like it's hard to imagine because I think you had asked me just a little bit earlier like okay, so how exactly is this going to go? And I go I you know, I'm going to say this and we're going to get on and we're going to speak because I do think that the best kind of conversations are the conversations you can go back and go, oh, what were we talking about again? Because it just
Mhm.
naturally had a movement forward and a continuation without the need to really think about what was going on, right? But very
Mhm.
quickly,
Yeah,
Commandthrow, thank
yeah.
you very, very much for the donation. Commandthrow says they want to get little felt plushies of us and then smush our little faces together and then go, now kiss.
Oh! That's so cute.
That is
I love all the
adorable.
comments of people saying, like, nicknames for us.
Yeah, yeah. I know. That's actually so funny.
And
It's
Maeve
quite
Maeve
sweet of
didn't
us.
know this, but I let her know at the start of the call that someone has made a special account dedicated to just me and Maeve.
Yeah, so whoever made what is it, Square Maeve?
Yeah, Square Maeve
So
on Twitter.
whoever has the Square Maeve Twitter account, you have been noticed.
Yeah, the senpais have noticed you. That's weird about us being senpais when we just debuted.
I know,
No, okay.
right?
The girlies have noticed you, and we appreciate you, and that's so adorable. Do you think they just shipped us because we debuted on the same day, or is there something more? Is there something deeper?
Is there something about us truly? Well, I'm not gonna lie. We the both of us do like film, so and we had actually spoken about
Mhm.
only very little though. We definitely are supposed to speak about it way more, but I think maybe
Mhm.
there's small things on top of like in that along that kind of sector where it's small similarities between us maybe that could be a part of it. But I mean, we did debut on the same day and we called beforehand and we called afterwards too, kind of to congratulate each other and wish each other good luck, right?
Mm-mm-mm.
So
I don't
whoever
know
is
how did they get that vibe?
yeah, did you know that? Whoever whoever thinks that, you know, whoever pairs us together in a certain way like that, just know we do spend some time together. We did spend some time together. We have talked here and there. Generally,
FBI
you know.
agent that made the Square Maeve account that knows that we have talked. Thank you. We
Yeah.
appreciate you.
Thank you so much. And also, if you have any recordings of the suspicious things we've said to each other, no, you don't.
No, you don't. It was
No, you
it was a
don't.
joke. It was in
Yeah.
jest.
In jest,
And
exactly.
and these notes, as they say. I
and
don't
and
know.
all the fun jazz. Right, right, right.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
I do have a question though. This doesn't have anything to do with what we were talking about, but I had this question in the beginning because for your intro, you mentioned that you are a Sazeoni. I need to know how we got to that. I mean, besides the whole, well, when a mom Sazeoni and a dad Sazeoni love each other very much, I want to know. So, besides being a snail, what is it that how do I ask that properly? When you became Screamimi, how was it you had yourself? How does that? Do you know what I'm asking?
Do you mean how did I come up with
Yep.
my character?
Absolutely. That's what I'm asking. Yes.
Are you sure? Is that because you sound a bit unsure if that's what you were meaning?
I just well, you're a Sazeoni and I'm a Selkie, and sometimes we don't really want to acknowledge anything outside of that. So if you're comfortable, I would like to ask how you became a Sazeoni.
Because
I had never heard of a Sazeoni before. Have you?
No, not before being here. I hadn't heard of one. I don't know how I got here, to be honest. Like, I went through a lot of thought processes as to what I should be, and a lot of my process with figuring out what to be was thinking about what would fit my voice and my personality. And I was thinking like my mannerisms as well, because I make like noises when instead of burping, and I love slime and messy stuff. And eventually I just got to, ooh, what if I was a snail? And then I was like, is there any like snail or like slime oriented creatures? And then I kind of like looked into it, and then I found the Sazeoni, and I thought it was fucking hilarious. And I was like, this is it. This is my calling.
So what really did batten down that hatch was the golden balls. That gave you the 100%, right?
The specifics of the Sazeoni cuts off men's testicles and trades them for treasure. It was like, I've never heard of this. I want to be this.
Yeah, trust we had never heard of it either.
Yeah, no, I am immediately drawn to things that are new to me. Like I love I love like strange and interesting things that I've not like really seen myself personally. And I was like, I could work with this. I could work with this.
You've never seen somebody cutting off men's testicles? I'm just kidding.
I could work with someone. Yeah, no, I was just like, I could make this into a thing. Like this could be like an inside joke with my community, and you know, like we can spam like yellow balls in the chat. And I mean, like, we can't talk about the audition process, obviously, but I did talk about a lot of inappropriate things during my auditions. And I was like, this is kind of an ode to how I got here in this place, was talking about very inappropriate things in my interviews with, you know, called the management, that
Right.
I feel like should have, you know, not gotten me the job. But like maybe gotten me blocked. No, it not blocked, but like
but there should be concern. There should be concern. That's so
I mean,
funny.
yeah, like I read out one of the things to myself recently, and I was like, man, this is kind of gross. Why did they hire me?
That's so funny. That's so funny. Very quickly, Leon Senpai, thank you so much for rating. Thank you. It's
Leon.
true. It's true. Bow to your thighness. No, but thank you so much. We are currently a bit into my very first episode of the Who Are You Really podcast, and our very first guest, Screamimi, who is also part of Hexokai. Welcome in, everybody. Welcome in. Yeah. So
welcome.
It is funny, I think, because there has been some questioning of appropriateness or inappropriateness with Globie and Hexokai and not I'm so sorry, not Hexokai, pardon me. Globie and Screamimi. Because obviously not like I'm not safe for work. Like I do enjoy the care and the Ojo-sama vibes and the Onesan vibes, and I do like all the fun ways that can be comforting, even if that includes comforting in their own version of not safe for work. But I don't personally deal with not safe for work things. I know the other girls don't. But if anybody did have any question about about Scrubimi and her not safe for work being here, as you can tell, management knew everything that was going on, and management said, "Yeah, I sign us up, sign us up right there."
I think they just knew that it was like, yeah, I mean, this is why we hired her. So
That's so funny. But you know what's actually funny also? When I was going through the hiring process also, there were certain things about what I had given on my resume that I was waiting for them to ask in that type of sense, that I was waiting for them to ask or have concerns about, and they didn't either. And it just so happened that you know, it just so happened that I, as Maeve, am a completely different person. But I also sat there and I went, are you sure you want me? Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I remember when they hired me, I legit asked them on several occasions, are you sure you picked the right person? But that's just because I'm like a very insecure person, and I suffer from like really bad imposter syndrome.
Poor
Like I just
girlie.
feel like I do not deserve the things that I've worked for. Like I feel like someone else should definitely be here. As
Right.
someone who has been a lurker in the content creation sphere and the VTuber sphere for a long time, and seeing other VTubers make it big and make it into corpos, when I became someone that's in a corpo, I was like, I feel like I was like entering the Matrix or something. I'm like, why am I here? Like this is wrong. This feels wrong. I'm supposed to be the lurker, not the watcher.
So what gave you like really the confidence or the strength to, you know, apply in the first place and really go through with all that? How did you feel? And if you don't mind, obviously answering.
How do I sorry, I was having a drink.
No, not at all. The
What
question was, what gave you the confidence in the first place to apply, and how did you feel throughout the process in which you knew that things are going generally well?
um well, it's a little difficult to remember off the top of my head, but luckily I have a bullet journal that like
Mm-hmm.
I literally have like journal entries from like earlier this year, from when I was like, oh my god, like freaking out about it. Um but the the confidence I initially got to apply for this position in the first place was I am sick of working in places that I hate with people that don't care about me, and I just want to be in a job that makes me happy, because I have worked in waitressing jobs. I worked in the cinema. I have worked in the bereavement industry, believe it or not. That's a little tidbit about
Mm.
me. Um, I did video editing for funeral webcasts during COVID-19. When people couldn't go to funerals, I kind of you know, made video obituaries for people to commemorate their loved ones, and kind of handled the live stream webcasts that people they like had cameras in the chapels of the services, and I like made sure that that all went smoothly and everything. But it's all very depressing work, and
Mm-hmm.
not to mention I've worked in retail, which is like,
Way more depressing, actually. But
yeah, like it, like in its own vein. Like, so I've worked TLDR, I've worked in a lot different roles.
Mm-hmm.
Because I had to drop out of uni, so I
Mm-hmm.
am not like sufficiently qualified for standard jobs. So
Mm-hmm.
I've had to go from small job to small job to small job just to make ends meet. And then this has been on and off for like the past 5 years, and it got to a point where I was like, I am sick and tired of just like living paycheck to paycheck. I need to be in a job that can, support my creative needs and my need to just like I just want to be in a job that makes me happy. Like on my debut, I literally had one of my goals on my debut slides in my little my little dumb window movie maker, my little window movie, what was it called? My little Windows movie maker video. I
Yes,
literally,
yes,
one of my
yes.
goals is just be happy, because I'm so sick of just being in jobs that make me so sad. And I want to be in a job that makes me happy, where I can contribute my creativity and
Mm-hmm.
be surrounded by people that understand me. Because for too long in these jobs I've been in, I've been surrounded by people that don't understand my little quirks, like my I don't know, like my dyspraxic tendencies, or
Mm-hmm.
my kind of ADHD klutzy brain, So I
Mm-hmm.
just it's nice to be in an industry where it's like these things that are usually flaws, people call pun, or
Mm-hmm.
like what do you say, like cute, and like you can become a character, like a adorable fictional character based off things that are usually flaws.
Right,
Yeah, like
right.
my own community call me pawn, and it's like I'm like dropping things and like being like generally clumsy because I've got terrible hand-eye coordination. And in real life, like it's terrible. Like I've got bruises all over my legs because I'm constantly bashing into things. But
Right.
like in the VTubing world, I'm Pon. I'm a silly Pon slime girl, and I love this job. But for the interview process, I you were asking like
Oh, just,
what did I
how were you feeling as you were seeing that things were going pretty well throughout the process?
Oh man, I was I can be quite pessimistic when it comes to myself.
Mhm.
I'm trying to get better at it, but like my main thing is like I feel like this is going to end at any minute. Like management are going to be like, "Yep, she's too much. We've got to get rid of her." And especially during my interview process, I was like, yeah, they're going to be like, "Yeah, this is too risky to hire a girl like her," or we found someone who has a bigger view count, who is more talented, etc., etc. I lost a lot of sleep thinking about all these things, and then
Oh.
like it got to like the third interview, and they were like, "Yeah, so we love you and we want to have you," and I'm like, "You mean me?" Like the girl
She, like,
reading this.
she turns around both sides, right? She turns around both
Pa-
sides as she's going, "Oh, me, me."
yeah, like this one here, like not talking to someone behind me, like it's like I'm like looking through my little journal entries, and I'm like I was going through so much anxiety, like just I remember because I don't have a lot of money to like buy nice things, but like for the like the camera interviews, because for like this isn't like secrets or anything. For any interview for a job, you've got to do a face-to-face call, like because they want to make sure you're a real person, right?
Mhm, mhm.
And I remember like I did two like face-to-face calls before they said yes, and I remember I like spent money that I didn't have. I dipped into my overdraft even more so just to buy like a pretty necklace that looked like it could be expensive,
Oh,
and a pretty top. And I this is really embarrassing, but I put on a wig as well because I hate my hair. And
oh.
I made myself look like the most fabulous person I could possibly be, just because like I wanted to show that like I can take this job seriously, but like I was like, with my current hair and my current clothes, I can't show them that I am serious about this job because I'm so poor. So I'm just gonna. This is an investment. This is an investment. I'm just gonna buy something that looks expensive, buy some things that look nice, and just pretend. And here I am. Ta-da! I'm like that picture of Shrek where he's like, ta-da! That's me.
No, I love that. I love that. Wow, that's really heartwarming to hear. That's really quite. I didn't know all that either. So I just didn't realize that you obviously you went through so much, and you are here. You are here.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
fake it till you make it.
made
That's pretty much what I was living by. That's the chat. The chat is right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Do you
Yeah,
still
that
have all
was-
that? Do you still have the necklace and the top and the wig?
Oh, yeah. I actually I don't know where that necklace is, to be honest, because my plan was to return everything so that I could get my money back, because again I couldn't afford to buy such nice things. But I ended up losing the receipt, and I got so
Mm.
busy like signing the contracts and having all these talks with management that it just never happened.
Oh gosh. Oh
So
gosh.
yeah, I was like, oh, okay, I guess I'm just gonna keep these things then. But it's fine, you know, like I like the rings that I bought. They're really pretty, and um like it is embarrassing to like admit that you wear like a wig, but like it's not even that like I don't have hair, it's just I hate my hair color, but I don't have
Mhm.
money to like keep up with like hair dye or like hairdressing appointments. So like
Mhm.
I used to wear it all the time. It's just like a really pretty long like wig with like dark hair, and I was like, man, I'm like really feeling my ghost girl aesthetic with
Right,
like
right.
long black hair, and I was like,
Well,
man,
I
I'm really
mean,
feeling this.
it's not even though. I feel like a lot of people still wear wigs for almost every reason.
Mm-hmm.
Outside of just because sometimes, you know. So absolutely I can see why you feel like you would feel the need to be so, but you never need to be embarrassed over something like that. Wigs are really
I
just
just
made for
wanted
everyone.
I just wanted to look fabulous. That's it. Like I was like,
And I'm
I
sure
don't.
you did.
No, legit. Like I took like pictures of myself like before the call happened, and I was
Mhm.
like, damn, she hot.
Damn.
That was
But
like the
the
most dressed up I have been all year. Gonna be honest.
the two-syllable damn. The two-syllable damn. Oh
Like,
gosh.
I'ma be honest. I'ma be honest. I don't know if like management are gonna hear this, but like I legit like pushed my boobs a little bit up as well, because I was like, I want to look sexy.
Oh bless.
If not for
Bless.
management, for me, I want to look sexy for me.
And I love
Because
that.
I
As
am
you
most
should.
confident when I am like dressed to impress, you know?
Right, right. I think that's something that people talk about all the time too. Or not, people might not talk about it, but people should. Where it's like, oh, what do you get dressed up for? And it's like, me. I don't get
For
dressed up
me!
for me. So that I can feel nice. So that I can
Mhm.
sometimes it's like that. It truly is. You know, like I'll go to
Yeah.
I'll go get a haircut, and because they'll blow dry it or something. And I'm like, wow, why do you blow dry differently than I do? And then for the rest of the day, I'm like, I don't know where I go, but I have to be outside because this blow dry should not go to waste. Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
No, I'm glad that's
Yeah, no, I know someone who told me, like, this was like a few years ago. I remember they told me that their mother, they would get completely dressed up and they'd spend like an hour getting their makeup done, their clothes ready, their hair ready, just to go to like the shop around the corner, like the like the corner store. And I'm like, I get that though, like,
That's
you know,
beautiful.
yeah, I mean, like, I mean, like, it's your body. You can like dress up however you want. You can do whatever you want. And me
Mhm.
personally, I was like, if I make myself look like a superstar, then I will be so confident that I won't even like, because I am just an incredibly anxious person in general. So I was like, I need to think of ways to combat these nerves somehow.
Mhm, mhm.
And the big thing with me was like, if I look like a celebrity, then I will feel like a celebrity, and they will know, like they will sense that, you know.
Right, right. That's actually something people say all the time, where it's like, oh, if you personally yourself just think of it that way, then other people will just feel it.
Yeah, I
Also,
mean, people can tell when you're feeling a certain way, like, because just based off like subtle mannerisms and things, right?
yeah, yeah, absolutely. Which also, by the way, Square Maeve Clips is actually here.
Squirmive clips.
Yeah,
Thank
saying I'm
you for
personally,
being you.
yeah, thank you. And it also says thank you for, so it says, personally pretty glad you're both here. You're welcome.
Heck yeah. Yeah, I mean, you're dedicated to both of us, so
Yeah.
I'd like to hope so.
I want to say you're welcome because I made this happen. No, I'm just joking. Thank
Yeah,
you. Thank
you're
you also.
welcome. No.
I'm joking. Thank you. Thank you for enjoying us that much.
Yeah, I love it. It's super cute. It makes me happy.
When do you think the next time is that you're gonna take all those out and you'll dress yourself up again?
Well, I said that the interview was like the most I dressed myself up. I think that was like the number one time I've dressed myself up this week. Yeah.
This year.
This week. This year. The I went to go see Shaun of the Dead
Mm.
re-released for its 20th year anniversary at the
Mhm.
cinema. And red is a big motif in the movie, so I put on this like pretty red dress that I don't wear often, and I put on makeup and I did my hair, and you know, honestly, it was super nice. I took myself out for a restaurant meal for the first time ever. I've never done that by myself, and it was a little scary, but
Uh-huh.
I felt fabulous. Like I felt like a businesswoman, like taking myself out for like a
A
date. It
meal.
was lovely.
Oh,
Yeah.
that is so nice. I love that for
Yeah.
you. And then the
And
next time you'll dress yourself up is when I get to go visit you, right?
yes, absolutely. And we
Oh,
can
lovely,
go
lovely.
I'll take you to all the best pubs that I can Google because I don't go to
The
pubs.
poor girl. You do not have to take me out to pubs. We can go out for a Tesco meal if you need. We'll just hang
Oh
out.
no, no, no. I
We'll
will
hang
not I
out.
will no, I refuse to take you for a Tesco meal deal. You cannot come
Why
all the way to the
not?
UK and we just
Oh.
give you a meal deal.
Wait, hold on. There's two things. Firstly, we will also go out to eat at a very nice place. But I also
Yes.
just want a Tesco meal deal.
Okay, you can do that. I
Yeah.
mean, it's not just Tesco that do them. There's all different kinds of meal deals. We can do like a meal deal tier list.
Oh my gosh, wait, that would actually be so fun. Oh, and I definitely want to go to a spud stand.
I would love to hear an American's opinion on British meal deals and British cuisine.
Yeah, are any of you guys Americans? Can you come over and let Mimi know? Could you? Because now I'm curious as well.
What are you most curious about in the UK specifically, Miv? Did you say Weatherspoons?
No, I don't know what. No, no, somebody else said Weatherspoons.
Oh, Weatherspoons is fun. That's like a pub mixed with a bar kind of thing. They do like really fun cocktails that taste real good. Like they sell um like Purple Rain,
Wait,
they
I'm so
sell
sorry.
Blue
Very quickly,
Lagoon.
did you just say a pub mixed with a bar?
Yeah, so like a pub
Is
in
yes, go ahead. Sorry, my
No,
apologies.
I
Go
was
ahead.
no, you're good. To me at least, a pub is like very like old-fashioned, like furniture and interior, but like when I've been to Weatherspoons, it's usually like it's like a pub, but it also is like a bar as well, because they do like lots of different nice cocktails and things that you wouldn't get in a pub. Like pubs are just for
Oh, okay,
like
okay.
basic drinks, basic
Right.
like like lagers and beers.
Okay.
But in a Weatherspoons, you can get like a cherry woo woo. You can get purple rain cocktail. Sex on the beach. Sex on the beach is my favorite cocktail. So I like Weatherspoons because they do them.
I actually forgot. I feel like somebody had asked recently on a cocktail recommendation, and I thought of this for a sweets cocktail, and I thought, oh, the sweetest cocktail I know is a Sex on the Beach. Sorry, were you about to ask me something?
Sweet. No, yeah, I was gonna say, what's your favorite cocktail, Maeve, if you have one?
A gin and tonic. Sorry, was that too
come
far?
on, that's boring. That can't be. Is really?
Okay, well, I'm a very big person on having signature cocktails. I like espresso martinis. I like old fashions as well. I just happen to be I happen to be a heavier drinker, so if it's too sweet, I usually like to ask for extra liquor anyways. So a gin and tonic is my usual go-to, simply because it is just enough for me. And a gin and tonic is a classic, it is. But yes, if we wanted to talk about like full other cocktails, like yes, I love a good espresso martini. I love a good old fashioned, and old fashioned is the way to do it. Sidecar, great. Anything, yeah, anything that you see when you watch, I don't know, whatever they call if you watch like a Bond movie. Whatever they have in there.
Oh my god, you would be the love interest of a Bond movie. I can see it.
That's so sweet. That's so sweet that you think Bond would be able to afford me. No, I'm joking. I'm joking.
He wishes.
I'm kidding. I'm joking.
No, don't be. He wishes.
I'm joking. No, people are going to think that I only care for money now, which isn't inherently true.
Well then, if they care, then they'll get to know you better, and they'll know that that's not the truth, won't they?
True. Absolutely. But yeah, I feel like an old fashioned is a type of drink that I go to most bars, and if I wanted to see if their selection was good, I would call for an old fashioned.
What's an old fashioned?
Oh, an old fashioned. It's quite simple, and it's very whiskey forward. Forward question.
Whiskey's so strong.
Is it? Yeah, whiskey.
I'm
sometimes
so
brandy.
Bad with alcohol.
Sometimes brandy. Here you go. The old fashioned is a classic cocktail. Can make it with bourbon, rye, or a blended whiskey. So bourbon and rye are both whiskeys. And then there's also what they call a Manhattan as well. But it uses an old fashioned uses simple syrup, water, bitters, ice, generally bourbon, and just little garnishes. So it essentially
sounds so
just
regal.
It's essentially just whiskey with a bit of sugar water. Oh gosh.
We are like yin and yang. Like you love romance, I love horror. You love like traditional like alcohol. I need a lot of sweet more than alcohol. Like I don't like the bitter taste of alcohol, so I need lots of sweet in it to be able to stand it.
Maybe that's why. Maybe that's why like you'll love horror, because you'll have all your sweets in your drinks, and I'm the opposite. Right.
You've got you're watching your romance movies with your martini, and oh man, I can picture you being the kind of person that like, you know, like in like movies they like get the bartender to like slide the glass of alcohol down the full length of the bar. Oh my
gosh.
I can picture you being the person that like catches it on the other end.
I'm
like,
so glad that you can imagine it that way, because I absolutely do not have the best hand-eye coordination either. All of where I would have hand-eye, that's where we have similarities. I feel like the both of us would walk down the street and both like, I don't know how, hit the same pole at the same time.
We'd like I can picture like the scene. It's like like you're in like a bar, like a Western like style bar, and someone like is like polishing a glass, and you've got your legs like crossed, and you've got like fancy nails, and you're looking like fabulous, and you're like hit me with a
Hit me.
hit me, and then they just slide it down the bar, and you like
Oh,
go
that's
to
so
catch it, but it
funny.
just like slides past your hand and smashes on the ground.
Exactly. And I'll just go, hit me again.
Yeah. Again.
Again. Oh my God. See, it really is then that's how we truly provide the fake it till you make it moment, right? Because I do think that, yes, there are parts of me that I feel like, oh yeah, I think that's pretty cool of me, but in reality, I'm terrible at so many things that are so simple, and I think that's just a good funny bit. Also, Jimmy Bond Jr., thank you so much for the tip. I appreciate it. He says, this is all I own. Is that enough for you, your thighness? Oh my God, absolutely, because you gave me all that you owned. Oh, that's so sweet.
Yeah, it's like, I know that this is like completely different. I mean, it's not completely different, but like there's that story from the Bible, and not to like be religious, because I'm not religious, but that immediately made me think of, there's a story from the Bible where there's all these rich people that are giving like all their wealth to Jesus, and there's like this poor person who only, sorry, I'm not calling your child poor, oh my God.
What? Yeah, I can't believe, can you believe it? I'm just kidding.
No, there's like one person who can only spare like a single coin, and Jesus is like, you have ultimately given me the most out of everyone, because this is more worth to you. And oh man, I am sorry. See, that's an example. Oh shit, that is an example of me like speaking before thinking properly.
No, it's okay. I'm sure that nobody thought that way.
Okay. Sorry.
Not at all, not at all.
Sealies and pennies. Please
Can you
don't pin
believe
me
it?
to the wall
No, I'm
and
just kidding.
give me a kiss of a seal of a kiss of approval.
Isn't that? Oh gosh, that's an actual song, isn't it? Oh, Kiss of
What
a Rose or
is?
something like that. Kiss from a Rose.
Kiss from a Rose
But
by
it's a
Seal.
song by
Oh my
Seal.
God.
Oh, we were so close. We were so close. There you go.
I love that song. You know, whenever I think of that song, I think of have you ever seen this movie called Who Killed Captain Alex?
No, I haven't.
It is like such a genuine piece of filmmaking. It was made on like a tiny budget in like the third world country. It was made on like a tiny budget, like $200 in the third world, and like while like wars are going on, and there's like a whole story about like or like there's like a soldier who was killed, and there's like all these like they like self-taught themselves martial arts. Yeah. There's literally like a narrator throughout the whole thing, and the narrator just has like the weirdest comments on things, and like everyone in the movie like knows martial arts that they like self-taught themselves, and they have like plastic props and things that they pretend are real, but like they are so into it. They put their whole pussy into their acting, like they are like actually like living
Award
the story.
winning. They're award
it's
winners.
so good.
Wait, but why do you get reminded of Kiss from a Seal? Did they have that in the movie? Or Kiss from a Rose?
Yeah, sorry, no, Kiss from a Seal. Yeah, there's a scene where like they're like kind of having a serious discussion, and there's like a panpipes version of Kiss from a Rose by Seal, and I was like, what is this song? And I listened, and I'm like, that's Kiss from a Rose. That's hilarious. But yeah, no, honestly, like if we are to like divvy into like movie talk like real quick, I do recommend Who Killed Captain Alex. It's such an interesting piece of media. It's like it's probably the most known like movie that has like the tiniest budget. It's great. I love it. Yeah, someone mentioned it's made by Wakaliwood, Ramon Film Productions. It's so good. It's like the only movie I can think of that has like a narrator. They give it like its own name, like a special narrator name. Like I'll have to like send you a video, but basically like there's so many scenes where like they're like fighting, and then like the narrator is like, "What is happening? This is crazy! #1 movie in Uganda," and it's like he's just having so much fun.
Wait,
And
that is
it's
actually
like,
so funny. Is it one of those? It sounds like one of those movies that's so bad that it's good.
it's amazing. I'll send you. I haven't watched the full movie myself. I love this YouTuber called I Hate Everything, and I know that name sounds like super negative, but in actuality, he like it's just the name. Like he's real good with his reviews and stuff, and he talks about movies, and he talks about this movie, and it's so good. Who Killed Captain Alex? It's something that I recommend you watch.
I will most definitely consider it, because now I think that sounds hilarious. But I will not promise that I will do it sober.
Oh no, honestly,
that sounds like it would be a better time if I had a drink.
You've got to watch like under some kind of influence, right?
Yeah, that's what it sounds like. I would have a better time if I had a bit of a drink.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much. How funny.
Do you have like a movie that you like to watch when you drink? Or like a piece of media that you always go to when you drink, like a specific like Spotify playlist or videos or something?
Yes, but not because I'm drinking. It just so happens that the mood that I fall into will include me drinking and watching or consuming this media.
Okay.
So depending on the mood, I will grab myself a drink and listen to 70s music.
Oh, I love that.
I'm a 70s music kind of gal.
Yeah.
And I mean,
like
usually,
Madonna?
No. No.
No.
No. Miss Ma'am, I'm pretty sure what Madonna was a good let's see, she was like the 80s, 90s? When was her biggest? Sorry, I have to also look because I can't remember.
No, you're good. I'm so uncultured. I only found out recently
Yeah,
that
the 80s.
Madonna was like
Madonna's
after
the
the 70s
90s,
because
after the 70s, yeah.
There's like a VTuber drunk posting on Twitter about how they were like listening to Madonna music, and I like had to look up Madonna jokes to like respond to them, and it said something about being in the 70s, and I was like, I don't know. I'm so uncultured.
Yeah. I mean, you are definitely cultured, just in one other sense than I am, right? In like an opposite, in a different kind of way. That's all. I would say like Earth, Wind, and Fire. That's a hit.
I mean, I only know the one song by them, the September, but
right. Bee Gees, the Eagles.
Yes.
Aerosmith. Yeah, Bee Gees is a big one with me. ABBA, right? AC/DC.
I saw that ABBA are like doing like a concert sometime next year.
Are they
gonna
actually
be there? I think
I wouldn't.
So, yeah.
But is it actually ABBA, or is it like a group that's trying to, what do they call that? Like a tribute group.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I think it is them. I think. I'm not sure. I don't know what ABBA actually look like, but I got an ad for it, and it was like at the ABBA Stadium, ABBA is doing a performance, and I'm like, there's an ABBA Stadium.
Isn't ABBA half dead?
Yeah, I don't know, but it says.
Yes, I do apologize for everybody who is who's Swedish out here, because I know there's a lot of Sweden people who don't actually love ABBA, but I do. So,
Oh,
well, yeah, there you go.
Oh wait, is this going into like bad territory? Because I
Oh
don't
no,
know what.
I've just heard that a lot of Swedish people don't like ABBA because that's, you know, because maybe they're overrated or something like that. It's almost like when people talk about, how do I say it? It's just like when you think about certain countries and the only thing you think about are their stereotypes or their most popular things. And then when you actually speak to somebody, they're like, that's not even the good thing. Like, you have to try these local things. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I mean, are you meaning like where people are like, oh, British people only drink tea and eat crumpets, but like obviously like we don't just do that. Is that like kind of what you mean?
It's in a way, maybe. Yeah, in a way, maybe, where it's kind of like, oh, you're British? Wow, do you love listening to Queen? Do you know what I mean? Where it's like, really?
Yeah, no,
really?
I guess I get that. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I've like seen people that like ask, they're like people from around the world that ask like British people like, oh, so like have you met the Queen? And it's like, no. That's like, I don't know, like she I mean, okay, first of all, she's dead right now, so
I've had this
right
happen
now.
once. It's so funny. Because you were talking about how you used to work with bereavement. I have had a job with mortuary. I have had work with a mortuary before. And I remember being on the phone to try and get information about the family of the deceased member. And I think they had asked me something, and I said, "Oh, yeah, I am of this how do I say it? Of this culture or a group of people." And immediately they go, "Wow. So have you heard of this thing?" And then they like mention something of that culture or group of people, and I'm just sitting here like, yes, I have. Have you heard of it? No, I have never heard of that. Can you believe it? I've never heard of a freaking baguette. I don't know. It's ridiculous.
Oh, apparently Drew's in chat. Hi, Drew.
Hi, Drew.
How you doing?
Hi, Drew.
Yeah, I think stereotypes in themselves are never fun, and being on the receiving end of stereotypes isn't fun. I mean, like, as a white Brit, I haven't had to suffer from many stereotypes.
Oh my God,
myself.
You're white? I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I do this. I do this often. I don't think my chat understands this at all. I don't know if you've even heard it, but this happens all the time whenever I meet other people, and I don't know why. But whenever I meet other people and they go, yeah, like, as a Filipino, which is something I knew that they were, I would go, oh my God, you're Filipino? Like, I don't know why. Naturally, I'm like, oh my God, you are a female? You're a female? You're a girl?
Yeah,
like, I don't know why. I'm so sorry.
It's
like
something I've had to learn specifically, like, because of you, Maeve. Because, like,
oh, really?
you've done it a bunch in calls, like, where we've been all together with other people. And I'm like, is she being, like, sarcastic or is she being serious?
That is probably one of my worst sarcastic quips of all time. And I cannot tell you why. I cannot tell you why I've done it ever. I have no idea where it came from. But for some reason, as you've mentioned, I've done it a bunch in call to almost anybody who mentions something about themselves. And I go, oh my God, you speak Spanish? Do you know what I mean?
It's like, okay, I remembered, like, are we okay to, like, no, okay.
No.
I was just gonna say, okay,
just
like,
assume it's a no.
I was gonna say we've been in a call with like people, and someone said like, yeah, I am this orientation, and you were like, really? And I'm just like pissing myself laughing.
No, I get it. I don't know why. It's like
I love it. It's funny.
It only works if I already know that too. Like, it only works if I already know something about someone. But if I hadn't known, I wouldn't have said anything. If I hadn't known, I would have been like, oh, okay, and now this is something I know of them. It only works if it was very obviously something I knew about that person, or that they knew I knew about that person. And then
Oh
I
no,
don't
no,
know.
no.
I just
I'm blue. I didn't say I'm white. Don't listen to me. Don't
she's
listen to past
blue.
me. I'm not white. I'm a
Sorry.
pastel. I'm a pale blue girl, and you know, blue girls. We don't really face a lot of prejudice and stereotypes. So I myself haven't had to deal with it a lot. So I can't talk for shit. But I assume that being on the receiving end of any kind of like cultural or like specific like stereotype for a group of people is not fun, and like I'm just annoyed on your behalf for the people that were like calling you like, oh my god, have you heard of this? Like
It's just
go suck a lemon, my guy.
I think at this point now it's one of those things where it's like if I didn't laugh I'd cry, right? Which I do often. But
Oh girl, oh,
Miss
give me your
Ma'am,
tears.
I know.
Give me...
That's hey, it's full of salt, so be careful.
Oh! Hey,
Blue
listen, a
gold.
little bit of pain is kind of nice.
That's that sweet masochist speaking. I love her.
Hey, listen. We all have a little bit of masochism. We all have a tism or a kism.
A tism or a kism. That is genuinely something I enjoy. That's a good one. That's a good one. It's actually but I think at this point also I just know, you know, as somebody who actually is a businesswoman, right? So much of it is not supposed to be harmful. I wouldn't ask somebody in their 50s or 60s, right, why they are so ignorant
Wrinkly.
if they say something. That's completely. I wouldn't. I mean, like if they had said something about
Why
me
are you
or
so
to
old?
me, like why are you so? You can't see, can ya, you little old fuck? No, but I mean, like I wouldn't ask them. I would just assume that like there's because my parents are of their older age, right? And there are a lot of things that they'll still do or say that I'm like, that's not. Don't say that. And so, but it's not that they do it with harm. It's a lot of just how they were raised or what they know, or what they're around. So the best way you do is educate them as best you can, but sometimes it's not even worth it. So if an older person, most likely if an older person has said something about me or how I speak or how I look and all those things, I just go, yeah, it is very impressive for a Selkie to learn English. Thank you.
Oh my gosh. See, the thing is that I don't think that anyone should ever use their age as an excuse for being ignorant.
I never use it as an excuse. I always
No, not
understand it as a
you.
reason,
Like-
right? As like a reason on why they're like that.
No, I understand. I'm thinking like I have people in my family where are like extremely ignorant because they're older, and my sister is like, oh, that's just how they are, like they're not going to change because of their age. And I'm like, but I've seen so many people like online who are like older than my family members, and they are vastly more understanding, vastly more open to listening and to learning. And I don't think it's ever, I know that like you were you saying that you say it's because of their age, because that's like how you kind of deal with like their ignorance in a way.
Yeah, in a way. Usually it's just one of those, but it's usually an easier thing if it's not somebody I have to deal with often. Like for example, if somebody were to say that and they were just behind me in the line at the store or something, then I would think, oh yeah, it's why, yeah, thank you. It is, you know, it is the way that it is, because I don't care very much to correct them. And so I would just say, well, that's just who they are. I don't get too upset about it, right?
Man, I'm the opposite in that regard. Like, even if it's someone that I'm only gonna meet once, I am like, listen, you are wrong, and I'm about to list all these reasons why. Just
you're wrong, and you need to know.
I just can't stand ignorant people, and like I just like, I know that I can't like talk to every kind of person, and like like no matter what I say, people are gonna like stay the same. But like it just frustrates me to no end when people can be that way, and I can't help but want to question them. Like I have a lot of old people that live around where I am, and
Mm-hmm.
they've said some terrible things, and I question them because I want to know what their thought process is on why they think those terrible things. And when they start explaining their thought process, it doesn't make any sense. And I'm like, okay, so like you don't have like a specific reason why you think that way. It's just you believe it so much that it's the truth.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think that's where a lot of ignorance stems from, is like you just don't want to you don't want to think differently. You just want to. I don't. Sorry, we've gotten onto such like a negative like
Not at
topic.
all. No, not at all. I mean, I think that this is really important. I mean, it's so the main point of this podcast, and I think it would be good for me to also explain to everybody, because it is the first episode of the podcast. It is called Who Are You
Mhm.
Really? And it really is supposed to be figuring out you as a person, as intimate as you'd like it without it being revealing. And I think it's really important to know that the kind of person you are is the kind of person who would stand up regardless of whether or not you think, oh, they're old, or how they grew up, or whichever. You think what's right is right, and you would stand for that, and that's very beautiful.
It's just I've been treated like a doormat a lot in my life,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
and I kind of like vowed to myself at some point that I wouldn't let that happen anymore. So
Mm.
whenever people do treat me badly nowadays, I do my best to combat it in whatever way I can. Even if like it has consequences a bit down the line. Like I just, my moral code is just my like number one virtue to
Mm-hmm.
me, is like keeping true to like my morals and who I am. But yeah, I don't know. I think it is important to talk about like who we are as people, because I think people forget that, we are living, breathing creatures underneath all this glossiness, these glossy layers.
Yeah, yeah. Underneath all the
So I
glamour up here.
so yeah, thank you for like like wanting to find out so much about like who we are really, because I think these are discussions that don't happen that often.
Of
Like,
course. Of course. I
you
think
know,
it's, the both of us also sit here and we talk about how interested we are in, the human psychology and humans and how they speak with each other and all such sort of things. So luckily you happened to be my very first guest, but it was very, I think, fated that the both of us who care so much for human psychology and relationships are the ones that are speaking with each other right now. Really good start
ooh,
of it, right?
that's an interesting thought. But since I do get the vibe that you are a romantic, Maeve, do you believe
Hmm.
in fate?
I
Because
do.
maybe it was fate.
Sorry, was that fast? I don't care. I do. I believe in
No,
fate very,
you're
very
good.
much. You know what? That's so funny because earlier I had this in mind already, but I wanted to ask you, and I will ask you again after I finish answering. But I wanted to ask you about what you do think the meaning of life is, or how you do personally think about life and how you go through it day by day, right? Because in my mind, I do think about fate and I do believe in it, and I do think that I live my life the way that it was almost written for me, right? And I do think that, of course, I make my own decisions, but the decisions I make are also fated. The questions that are posed to me in my life are fated to be questioned, and the things that I choose are fated to be chosen because of the way that everything else in my life was to be done, right? So I think that even me meeting you, even if, which I don't, obviously, I love you very much, but even if I met you and I realized, oh my goodness, I just cannot stand her, obviously, which I don't, but I mean, if it was a case, it has to be in some sort of reason that I feel like, not that I'm saying that it's a reason that somebody thought of, but I think, yes, it is fate that I had met you for one way or another, even if in a good way or a bad way, or even if a passing way. The same people that I would say hello to once and in my travels that I sat next to on the plane, like for some reason it had to be them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even if that meant that the reason had no actual weight to it at all. But yes, I know that fate isn't necessarily the question that would lead to this, but I did want to ask you previously.
I mean, I asked if you believe in fate, so...
Yeah. I do, because not always do people, I think, always put fate with how people think about life and such, but earlier you did mention you think about, you know, what is the meaning of life before you sleep sometimes, and I wanted to know if you had a clear and concise 3 to 5 sentence paragraph version of what you think the meaning of life is, and if you would be kind or willing to share it.
Well, before I share that, there is a wonderful movie that can explain all of this and more via beautiful cinematography, direction, and actors. And that movie is called Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Oh, I love that movie.
And to answer that question, I don't think there is any meaning in life and nothing matters. But that's okay, because, you know, that just makes it so we've got to live this life that we've got to the fullest. Because, you know, we may be here for a reason, we may not be here for a reason, but regardless, we're here, you know, whether we like it or not. So let's just have a fucking good time and just do whatever, like, be our best selves. Because if nothing matters, then let's just have a gay old time.
We have the exact same way of thinking about life.
I think it's people could view it as quite negative and like upsetting if like nothing matters. Well, then what's the point of anything? But like, it's freeing to know that nothing, like, obviously this isn't the ultimate truth. This is just my personal truth. But if nothing matters, then we don't need to live so hard for some, we can just live like comfortably, knowing that we are doing the best we can. And that, I mean, I feel like I've lost my thought a little bit, but I think it is just freeing to have the thought of like nothing really does matter. Like we really are just like a little dot in the universe, but that's okay. You know, that's all right. And if anyone ever does feel existential, there is a number at the bottom of there's there's no number to call. I'm sorry. Listen. I grew up with shows like
I love that.
Show, like there's this show that was on every now and again in the UK called Crime Watch.
Yeah.
And they'd like show like scary reconstructions of crimes, and they'd be like, if you were affected by anything you've seen in this show, please dial the number at the bottom of the screen. And I'm like, I feel like we should have that because we're talking about such deep things, but like, you know, it's just something to ponder about. And I am someone who likes to self-reflect a lot. And honestly, like, I recommend you go watch that movie. It's called Everything Everywhere All at Once. It is amazing. And I had not thought about life not mattering before that movie, but I am so glad that I did, because it's amazing. You've seen it too, right, Maeve?
Absolutely. I've seen it multiple times, and I took my mother to go see it as well. It's the perfect movie for me. Not for me. I think to me, it is the perfect movie.
Yeah, it
is the perfect film.
It's got everything.
Everywhere. All at once.
Exclamation mark, full stop. I don't remember what it has, but
yeah.
I don't want to like talk about anything in the movie itself, just because I remember when it first came out, everyone was like, you just have to watch the movie. Like, I don't, like, explaining it wouldn't do any justice. And I'm like good, because like I don't like spoilers, but like seriously, like if you want to watch this movie, don't look up spoilers or anything. It's not like a horror movie or anything. it's what genre would you call this movie?
It's everything. Everywhere.
Every
all at
genre.
once. It has a little bit of everything except for like a horror jump scare moment. Unless you thought that, you know, existential crises and the meaning of life is horror, then yes, it would have horror, just not jump scares. But it has action.
Horror, if you think about it.
Right. It has action. It has family. It has love. It has let's see, humor. So much comedy.
To microplastics, and
I always love learning about different cultures, and its main focus is on I think a Chinese family. Apologies if that is incorrect, but I love like watching them like talk to each other in their like in their own dialects and their own mannerisms, and I love like I just love seeing people be people. I mean, like Maeve, you've said that you love just like people, like you've said that people, like the relationships between people are really important, and I haven't really said, but like I enjoy seeing people interact with each other as well, because they're like it's such a lovely thing that we get to experience and see in our life.
Right. No, it really is, and it's just, I mean, I think it makes the world go round. Like the only reason absolutely the only reason we're here even is because of the relationship between you know, how people will enjoy consuming content and how much we want to share of ourselves or the way that we do things, right? So it's just so much of it is that I think it really does make the world go round. And I do think that Everything Everywhere, I don't know if Everything Everywhere All at Once is free, because somebody did ask, but it's not impossible that either Mimi or I or both of us would do a stream doing a watch along of it. So
I'd love to do that. I mean,
yeah,
like I've had it on my mind that I want to have a film Friday every week.
That'll be nice. That is nice.
If it's available to stream online, maybe I'll make that this week's movie. Thinking. But I realized I didn't ask. I know you said that you have like the same idea as me, Maeve, but like, what do you think is the meaning of life?
Oh yeah, I think the meaning of life is to do whatever the hell you want, as long as it's not hurting anybody else.
I agree.
And that's that. But I've been an existentialist forever. I took all my film history classes in uni. And also somebody earlier said those who did graduate uni aren't that much further ahead. And I want to be completely clear. I graduated uni. And I am also doing the exact same thing as everybody else who didn't graduate uni. So yes, you are absolutely right in those ways. Absolutely. That said, yeah, I took film classes in uni, and I remember the first time I had watched Synecdoche, New York. Have you ever heard of that one?
Whoa, I don't even know. What was that first word?
Synecdoche. It's
Synecdoche.
I had never heard of that before, but Synecdoche apparently is a city in New York. And it's a movie called Synecdoche, New York, with Philip Seymour starring. And it is an incredibly unbelievable amount of existentialism in one movie.
Oh.
And it's incredible. It's super trippy. Please, nobody be under the influence watching that. You will die. You will die. But I watched it because my professor at the time had shown it. And I remember thinking, wait, this is pretty much how I think. And she was going through analyses, and I was like, oh, so this is what like existentialism is. And so I stayed after class, and I had asked her, I was like, or I had told her, I was like, you know, after watching this movie, I think I'm an existentialist. And she was like, you found that out now? And I was like, why do you know that? I just found this out. Why do you know that? You know? But
Can you remind me of what the movie's called? I'm writing it in my movie suggestions list.
Synecdoche, New York, and it's from 2008. But I do warn, that it is incredibly trippy and almost can be quite terrifying, but it's super existentialist, and if you have full analyses, you'll realize, you know, how
I have
heavy
to
it
watch
is.
this. You have fully intrigued me.
Oh gosh,
If
oh
it-
gosh. I've
if
only
it's
ever watched it once.
trippy and
so.
terrifying, I want to know what this is.
Can someone spell it out? Yes, synecdoche.
Yeah, I spelled it
Synecdoche.
like a
What are you
snake or
saying,
like a
Axel?
snake.
I'm sorry, what?
I spelled it like a weird species of snake or something. I don't even know what I was trying to spell. I like Senptika. I was like, what is this word?
No, yeah, I would not have known either.
That is going right on the
New York.
fridge. That is going right on the movie suggestion list. Yeah, that's really interesting. That's funny that your own teacher was like, you're realizing
go.
now that you're existential.
Yeah, that was very funny. But basically just to answer that, yes, I do believe truly that I think, and I've pondered this when I was younger very much. You just have this extra time when your family is busy doing business. You just sit there and you go, why am I here? What do I do here? And I've come to the conclusion that I'm here to enjoy my life as much as I can, as long as it's not purposefully hurting anybody else.
Yeah, for real, my
For
Jill.
real, yeah, for real, my dudes.
Heck yeah! I mean,
Heck yeah,
like,
home slice. You know,
I think it takes vastly less effort to be happy than it does to be extremely angry and hateful towards the world. Like, if some people, which, you know, everyone's thoughts on life are totally valid, but if some people are like, life is pain, life is nothing, I hate life, like, I totally get it. Like, you know, everyone has different thoughts on life, but I mean, like, if you go in your life, if you go through your life kind of just being like nothing matters and full of hate, then that's also not good. I don't know what I'm trying to say.
No,
Man,
no,
it's
totally.
it is not good to hate. Wow, good one, me. Prolific.
Hating sucks. Hate sucks. Yeah.
Being mean is bad. Do not be mean
boo.
to anyone.
We hate that. Also, Command, thank you so much for the tip. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Command Throw says, were you exposed to microplastics, lead, and asbestos on the Square Maeve collab? Call 1-900-MIX-A-LOT and kick the nasty thought. Baby got back.
What the hell did I just hear?
Whatever. I want you to know it legitimately says that. It legitimately.
No, I believe you. I totally believe you. That's just hilarious. That's so funny.
Yeah. Also, sorry, just to put it out there. I don't know what's up with America. You guys are weird. Synecdoche is set in Schenectady. I don't even know what Schenectady. Those all sound like somebody having a stroke. Just letting you know.
Yeah, like it looks like it would be spelt douche. The last bit. Like if you told me that was douche, I would believe you.
Synecdoche. Yeah. That's
let me just go sign my douche real quick.
Oh my god, so bad. So bad. Oh,
never douche. Let me just say, guys, never douche. Douching is bad. Terrible for your lady parts.
Your hoochie mamas.
Your coochie, your woochie, your frou-frou. Maeve, do you have like a special word that your family calls vagina? Because mine does. We call it mot or tuppence.
Isn't that an actual word? Tuppence?
Yeah, I think that's like a type of penny that, like, from the ye old Victorian times, but my family call it either tuppence or a mot.
Is that not just 2 pence? Like
I think it was like an abbreviation for 2 pence, tuppence.
That's what I was saying. I was like, oh, isn't that just money?
Yeah, well,
you know,
it's my money maker. I'm shaking my money.
No,
I don't know.
Oh my god,
that's just what we call it.
No. Oh my goodness. Yes, there is, you know, in different languages and different cultures, they definitely do have something that they call that is not the scientific term for that.
Yeah, I don't know where we got mot from, but like it's spelt like MOT, like the what you do for a car. And I'm like, where did that come from?
What is that you do for a
You,
car?
you don't know what an MOT is? Do you not have
No.
MOTs in the Selkie regions?
I don't do
It's just
anything with my car. I barely even drive. I'm not a good one.
oh, I see. It's like a maintenance check on your car, basically.
Oh, maintenance of tuppence?
No.
MOT, maintenance of tires.
No.
Maintenance of tires.
I don't know what it stands for, but like an MOT is a car thing, and I grew up calling a vagina a mot, and I don't know why, but like the way I would spell it would be like MOT, like the car thing, but they're not related. They're two different things.
We'll find out. We'll find out soon enough. She'll call her family and go, "What is it related?" And they're like, "Oh yeah, that's the car that used to look like a car." I don't know. Mots are extremely
someone's
British.
vagina looking
MOTs.
like a car? What?
I don't know. Moving on. Do you
Moving
drive?
on. I don't know. I'd probably like to at some point, but to be honest, like with me being so existential about life, I grew up with a lot of terrifying like ads about like driving safe and everything, and like I don't really have a need to drive anywhere other than if it's like going to the supermarket or something, but like I have a bike that I use every now and again, and I get the bus.
Bicycle.
But bicycle.
Sorry.
No, you're good. To be honest, I think I'm going to sell my bike because I haven't used it in ages and it's just getting rusty outside. But I don't know. It's difficult to be honest because I don't really like go that far from my house. I'm pretty like, what's the word? Like I'm pretty like I'm hermity really.
Sedentary.
I guess. Did you say sedimentary?
Sedentary?
Sedentary?
Yeah, sedentary.
I've never heard that word. I know sedimentary, but that's to do with like fossils. You're such a fossil, Mimi.
Oh my god, you every single time you move, it shakes off a bit of extra dust. Sedentary, yeah.
I've not heard of this. No.
People who are pretty much seated or inactive.
Oh yeah, that's me.
Same.
Oh my god, that's me. Tag yourself.
No, same.
Yeah,
I mean, I swim,
I'm a pretty
but like
low
I don't
energy
swim.
person, so.
No, me as well.
Sorry, can I just say I do not mean to talk over you. I think I don't know, like I don't know. I can't tell like when you stop talking. How about like we try like we like mute, like I'll like mute like now, and then like you like talk, and then and yeah,
no, Mimi, let's just talk over each other.
I don't want to be rude.
Don't worry. I don't think that you're rude. I've talked over you multiple times during this podcast. Do not worry. And I will continue to talk over people all the time. And I want everybody to know it is not purposeful. It's just Discord lag, A, and B, I do not we can't see each other, right? So it's difficult to know when we're about to speak. We can't get the, when you start opening your mouth going, "Oh, I have something to say," that. So you can't see, and due to that, I think we're just talking over each other, and that's totally fine. To me, that just sounds like we have a lot to say, and I'm really happy that we have a lot to say to each other.
Yeah. I think my main thing with when I talk to people is like I do just need to like see their like facial expressions in order to know when they're about to talk. Like because like you can kind of tell when someone's about to talk because they like breathe in a bit harder or like they do kind of like move a certain way, but like it is a little bit harder to tell with the VTubing faces. I assume it's even harder with mine because like my eyes are not hard to read, are not very easy to read at all.
You have eyes? This happens every time.
Oh my god, you're a snail. Oh my god, you're a seal.
Oh my god, I actually, it's so funny. I still forget that I can see your eyes. Often, I still forget that I can see your eyes.
It's so funny, you know. I have fan art of someone who's drawn eyes underneath my bangs, and I'm like, I love this. Like, I love seeing fan art. Like,
this is not good anatomically correct, but I love fan art.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, people have drawn me with a huge schlong, which isn't anatomically correct, but I'm about that.
Wow. I'm not surprised though. I feel like there's a lot. Do you I guess that's a very difficult question, because obviously you are okay with not safe for work things. Do you ever get tired that is currently something that people bring up a lot?
What, like they bring up NSFW topics?
Yeah. Like because you obviously are so much and so much more. You obviously you know, have so many more likes and hobbies and you know, speak, and you have so much more depth to you. I mean, this is why you're on Who Are You Really anyways. Do you ever tire that not safe for work happens to be something that people might pick up on more, even though there's so much more to you?
I think if I start thinking about what other people think about what I do, then I will get into like an inception mode, because I already overthink about my own thoughts, never mind overthinking about other people's thoughts. But I do think about it sometimes, but I think as long as people, like, if people care to get to know me, then, like, and people understand that, like, being NSFW is not my whole personality. It is a fragment of my personality. I am, believe it or not, as Maeve mentioned earlier, even though we're 2D girlies, I am a 3-dimensional being with 3-dimensional personality traits and likes and dislikes. And, you know, if people just always want to bring up NSFW stuff, that's fine. But I like talking about other stuff. I love talking about movies. I love talking about, like, what's going on in the world. I mean, obviously not like controversial, but like, I don't mind it. Like, I'm always open to having lots of different topics. If people think that I'm just the NSFW girl and that's it, then they are very wrong, and that's fair, because that's kind of like the part that seems to have gotten me the most attention online is like, oh my god, she says like the craziest sexual stuff. Oh my god. But like, I just love to toe the line in terms of like boundary stuff, because I don't like to be kept in I don't like to be kept behind a line. I like to move the line myself. I like doing things that break the rules. It feels good to be an anarchist. Oops, my anarchy symbol. Have you seen that video?
No, no, I have not. I have not.
That's another aspect. That's another fragment of my personality. Is I reference, like, I have a lot of vocal stems, and I just reference memes and movie things. And here, let me show you.
I feel like that's something that we do sometimes too. That, I mean, I think I think that's like one of the first things that we did, which is we had mentioned Vines or something. The both of us were like, oh yeah, I know that one.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that one.
It's just a 3-second clip, but this is like this is just what I thought of. What kind of garbage is that? Whoops, my anarchy symbol.
That's so dumb. Oh my god, I love it.
It's like so ironic. I love it. I don't know, but yeah. If you were asking, like, were you asking if I get tired of people bringing up NSFW stuff, Maeve?
Yeah, sure. That's pretty much it. That's pretty much the question. Yes.
Well, I think it depends what mood I'm in, to be honest. So, like, sometimes I do feel more like sexual and rambunctious. I feel like a little rapscallion on a degen on the internet, but other times I'm like, hey, let's freaking just vibe and talk about like Shaun of the Dead Easter eggs or something, or like memes or something. Like I never want people to think that I'm just just that girl that likes to say vagina on the internet. I like saying things that I don't really see people say on the internet because oh, she's a girl and she said sexual thing. This is crazy. And it's like I like towing that line, you know. I like making, as I said previously, I like altering people's brain chemistry. And if I'm altering people's way of thinking with like, oh, she's a girl who said, I wish I had a big. Okay, listen, I'm gonna stop because this is your podcast. I don't want to be inappropriate.
yeah, thank you. But yeah, it's just surprising that you feel that way, considering I feel like a lot of YouTubers do that. I feel like a lot of YouTubers are like that's what they call like the lewd tubers now, right? So I feel like that's actually more popular to be able to do that now than it was previously.
I mean, like, I just like saying inappropriate and cursed things. Like I'm really happy that like it is becoming more popular for people to say things like that. Like, I mean, like, look where pup maxing got us. Pup maxing
Oh my
walked so
goodness.
we can
Oh
run.
gosh. Oh gosh. Pop maxing.
But yeah, I'm very happy that like the internet is coming to terms more with like the sexual woman, the lewd tuber. But I don't think I'd classify myself as a lewd tuber. I would classify myself as squirmimi, and that is who I want to be.
But what do you
It's
think a
just,
lewd tuber would be classified? How do you think you would classify a lewd tuber?
well, to be honest, I don't even want to classify a lewd tuber because there's probably a whole spectrum of what people classify as lewd. Like I I don't know, like
Yeah,
some
no,
people
that's
might class
fair.
holding hands as lewd or like kissing as
I
lewd,
always
but
thought that
then
was like
like
a joke. That like holding hands is a
yeah,
lewd
no,
thing. I always
that's
thought that
true.
was
But
a
like some
joke.
people might actually think that. Like some people have fetishes for like hair dryers and doorknobs and kettles. So I don't know what people classify as like tame or
Right,
lewd.
right.
But I'd never want to like make someone like feel like they're in a box like and or anything like that with being called a lewd tuber. I think the main thing is just like I don't know, like just talking about sexual stuff or like I don't know. It's as I said, it's a spectrum.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
difficult to
it's
answer, to be
understandable.
honest.
Yeah, that's understandable. Funnily
Mm-mm.
enough, I when I was a younger Selkie, I was a lot more open with things like that. I was
Mm.
yeah, I was super um I would mention things much more openly, and I would make a lot of jokes the same way, and I was just much more, generally lewd when I was a younger Selkie, and then I did get tired of it. So that's why I asked. I asked because I did get tired of it.
Mm.
I did feel like, well, now I know that people always still enjoy me as me, but
Mm-mm.
there's it's such a very stark difference with when I do want to just hang out as when I am a little bit more rambunctious, right?
Mm.
And so, luckily I got to shed a little bit of that. And now I get to just be a really nice, comfy, ojo-sama, onesan
Yeah.
type. But the only reason that I asked was because at some point it made it seem like even though as three-dimensional as I was, most people only liked to lean on that specific and at the end of the day, we kind of just have to say sex sells, and we know that. But you know, they only like
Sex
to leave.
sells.
It does. It's an actual just business term. It really is just a business term. Like we, especially among marketing, we kind of just go, yeah, well, the sex sells, and that's why. But I mean, even whether or not it should or shouldn't, right? But I think at the end of the day, it was just a little difficult to really understand, really be able to see like, oh, here are the good people here are just some people who really know me outside of it, and then everybody came flocking the minute at that point where I was like, ooh, surprise, surprise. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, like the woman behind the
Right.
sexual stuff, the lewd
Right.
things.
Which I think now that makes sense why I try to do a Who Are You Really podcast. It makes a little bit more sense, but that's I only mean to say that I asked because I had gone through something like that previously, so I wondered how you felt about it, right?
I think it takes a lot for me to get sick of something. I think like I was someone who watched Ice Age on repeat for an entire year. So it takes a lot for me to get sick of things.
That's very fair.
But like if we're not, obviously I'm not like meaning to keep tangenting to movies, but that just came to my head.
Not at all. I mean, I think that says enough. That says things about you, and we're here to learn about you, right?
But like I think something that I really enjoy about like being a content creator is like at least with like live streaming is like a lot of the time, at least with my own like channel, like, and I mean it's only been a week, right? So but from my experience in my journey, I've noticed that like even if like I am not being sexual and I'm like being something else, people tend to like change the way they speak just for me, which is super nice. Like I've had it where like we go from like having a super lewd conversation and then like an hour later like I open up my heart and we talk about like mental health or something, and people in the chat are just really nice and I don't know what the word is, like
Adaptable. Adapting?
Yeah, like they've just got like almost like great hospitality, even though it's like my stream. But like it's like nice. Like I don't know. I've never really thought of like being sick of like the lewd stuff, I guess, just because it's like my own personality. I guess that would almost be like being sick of myself, which I'd like to hope I'm not at that point yet, because
right.
I've only really started to learn to love myself in the past like few years.
Oh, baby.
But yeah, no,
and we
it's
love
an
to hear
interesting
that.
thought.
We love to hear that.
Yeah,
and I'm so sorry.
It's good.
What is the fan name? I always call them Little Squirts.
Oh, it's a Gloop Troops.
The Gloop Troops?
Yeah, it's the Mew cousins. It's the Smegmates.
Oh, so they're all of them.
Squirters.
So they're all. There's many. Great. I feel like the both of us happen to be the only ones so far with multiple fan names at a time. That's so funny. I call them Little Squirts. You know, just like, oh, you little squirt, you. Like
anything that is related to being a slug or being like squirming or like. I have a whole list of names I came up with, and I couldn't decide what to call my fans, and then I was like, how about we just have them be all the names? Aww. At the base, like my mascot is like a banana slug. Right. And that is like the representation of chat. So like at the base of it, they are my slugs, if that's your question. But like I call them everything. Like
no, I just wanted to because you know, we definitely like I definitely have a dedicated fan name of a Sealies, right? My little Sealies, but there's a faction in there that demand that they be called Pennies, and that's fine. But most other VTubers kind of have just one fan name, so I didn't know if you happen to have one, but it seems that I'm totally okay to call them Little Squirts.
You can call them whatever you like, because I call them whatever I like.
Sounds good, dipshits. No, I'm kidding.
No,
I'm
and
kidding, I'm
that's
kidding,
the
I'm
main
kidding.
that's the main thing with me, like becoming Square Mimi, was I wanted to like be something a little bit different to what people are used to. Like
Mm.
even something as small as like the fan name, I was like, let's just have it be like lots of different things, but like, you know, something really simple at its core, because I have a terrible memory, and
Uh-huh.
remembering fan names is like really like, well, like okay, so for example, like for my law, I was like, so I could do the like I could do like a really like intense law about my backstory and everything, but I personally am really bad at remembering backstory, and I was like, let's just go with like a something really simple that's easy to
Mhm.
remember, because simple is effective to me and my
Right.
little tiny memory.
So I really feel like the main thing about kind of this whole episode of learning about you is like what really stuck out to me really is just how much you like to really change it up and be different.
Mm-mm.
Would you feel that way then overall?
Oh yeah, like I this is no hate to like any specific type of VTuber, but I have always been like really into character design, and as someone who has been a lurker for a long time in the VTuber industry, like doing drawings of different character designs, I just kind of, for a while, I noticed the same kind of designs were cropping up again and again.
Mhm.
And that's not to say there's anything wrong with that. Like, there's a reason why like similar designs are used again, because they're effective.
Mhm.
I just I wanted to see something that was a bit more monstrous for me
Mhm.
specifically, because like if we're gonna be animal people, why not go a little bit further with it? Like for example, with the antenna eyes, and the fact that
Right.
like I don't have normal eyes. It's just my head is bald with no eyes or anything.
Right, right. For you personally, of course.
Yeah, of course. This is just for me. Like I'd never expect anyone to be a certain way. This is just, I love things that are different. I love things that are weird. And for my own creative interests,
Mhm.
it's the same. Like and whenever I've thought about like how VTubers a lot of the time are like animals mixed with people,
Mhm.
it's not super obvious, because like it is like I want to be like I love like you know how they say like a mermaid is like a fish and a human, and they're like beautiful, but then there's like the fish maid, and it's like they've got human legs but a fish upper body. I'm like, I
Ugh,
want to be that one.
mermaids.
I want to be the one that's got the human legs and the fish upper body. Just because it's like it's like it's funny to me. I like trying new things. I like new things, and I don't know. I don't I do really apologize if I'm coming across as like I am a martyr of character design or something like that. I
N-
really don't mean for it
No,
to be like
right,
that.
right. I think it's you
Um
know, like just definitely making it clear to everybody is just that Mimi herself likes, you know, to see differences for herself. But
yeah.
yeah, I know what you mean. I definitely know what you mean. I feel that way in a lot of other things as well. Not that I mean I like the same usual old cute anime girl, but I mean there's a lot of things that I do with my content that I feel like, well, why aren't people doing this? Because I like doing
Yeah.
it, you know, in that kind of way. So
And
I
that's
know what you
fine.
mean.
Like, I would
Yeah,
never judge anyone or say that that's like bad or anything. It's
of
just my own
course,
personal preference.
of course, of course. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely.
And I love you and respect you for your like your own little quirks and your own personality traits, and I think you're wonderful as you are, Maeve.
Oh, me personally. Oh, well, thank you. I mean, obviously, but sure, thanks. I'm kidding. I'm
Well,
kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
well,
I'm kidding.
everyone is wonderful as they
Yes,
are, unless
yes,
they're like a
everyone.
you know
Unless
an
you suck, unless you're
asshole.
just terrible, when you're just a bad person, then just
Yeah,
get
yeah,
over
yeah.
it. And it's so funny
Just
because there's
get
one
good.
Yeah, just get good. There's
No, I'm
one thing that I
joking.
do. There's two ways to think about it. If you're a bad person and you own it, then it's like, well, at least you own it. I dislike more of the bad people that pretend like they aren't, right? Which is,
Mm,
but
like the
that's a
nice
whole
guys.
other, yeah, exactly. That's a whole other thing. But yeah, I mean, we're about to wrap up here. So I do want to ask, of course, if two things, right? If
Yeah.
one person who couldn't make it to this podcast but really wanted to know, um, who are you really? Could you what do you want them to take away from this? What would you like to say about, what people should know about you that maybe it doesn't always come through or you don't always express it or other people might not always pick up?
Mm, it's kind of difficult to say, but I feel like in some ways I am like the embodiment of like having an existential crisis. Like both individual and personality, like but I don't know, whoever couldn't make it, they missed out on some fun conversations, but I'm j I don't know, like, I could you give me an example?
Sure,
Like,
if
I
that
feel
even
like I'm
means
struggling a little to
no, that's
think.
yeah, so even if that means, like, one thing you would want everybody to take away from this is, "Hey, spend more than 5 minutes with me," you know?
Yeah, no, okay, that's great. Well, yeah, totally, like, if anyone cares to get to know me a little bit, maybe try dipping, like, a few streams, like, even if it's just for, like, 5 minutes per stream, just because, like, my mood changes on the daily pretty much, like, it
Mhm.
depends on how much sleep I've had or if I've eaten. I haven't actually eaten properly today, so I feel a little
Oh
sad,
my god, me and you are the
but
same. I
but
was thinking about a
it's
good grilled cheese the entire time.
oh man, I've had a bowl of like chocolate cereal next to my microphone this whole time, and it is
Oh,
very soggy right
I'm
now. So
so sorry.
when this is over, I'm gonna slurp it up like chocolate noodles. But
Mm,
I
chocolate
think
milk.
if you are under the impression that I am just a Vtuber who just wants to say sexual things for views, that's up to you. That's up to you. I do encourage you though to spend a little bit more time with me just because, as I mentioned, I have other things I like to talk about.
Mm.
um Sometimes I get a little bit hyper and just talk about one thing more than the other, but come on, it's only been a week. It's been like a little bit more than a week, and you know, it's I just look forward to getting to know everyone, getting to know you, getting to know I don't know, but I would implore people to get to know me a little bit more, before assuming that a I'm just gonna say lewd thing because I can. I just yeah, I don't know. Just
Yeah,
as you
yeah.
said, Maeve, just spend more than 5 minutes with me. That's what I'd like to hope people do going forward.
Yeah, that's lovely. That's wonderful. I'm really glad. So
Mm-mm.
it seems as though if everybody has kind of missed it, in a gist, her last message for anybody who wants to take anything from this is spend some time. We're three dimensional, and she definitely has more to share than, and she is not just sitting here saying lewd things. Okay, so there you go. And one last question. How
Mm.
much do you love me? That's the important
Are
question, I
you
think.
seriously asking that?
Oh, I want everybody to know. Oh, I want everybody to know. I do this on purpose.
You're my big sister. I love you so, so
I love you too,
much.
sweetheart.
You single-handedly led our entire debut campaign.
Okay.
You have been amazing. You are gorgeous. You are talented. And yes, I know that like it's a bumpy ride. It's been a bumpy ride, but you've been taking the wheel, and you've been you are. Uh, let me start again. You are gorgeous, beautiful heiress, big sister Ojo-sama, and I appreciate you so much. And legit, like, I feel very comfortable around you.
Thank you, thank you. And I feel the same way about you. I'm just comfy and, you know, luckily I have gotten the chance to know you for more than 5 minutes, so I know how much of a true sweetheart you are. And let everybody remember that she loves me. Uh-huh. Like that.
How long has it even been? Oh my god, we've been doing this for 2 hours.
Yeah, we've been yapping. We've been yapping, but which means that it's about time right now for us to say goodbye. But thank you very much to everybody for coming by and you know, really getting to know Mimi and
Getting to know me
and how we are really. Yeah. And our raid message I have decided is going to be seal kisses and snail wishes with our little emotes there.
Let's go!
Of
That's so
course,
cute.
of
I love that.
course. We hope that everybody,
I want to see that in the chat. Come on, y'all.
you know, is that
Come
not
on,
cute?
Sealies.
Isn't it adorable?
Mhm.
And thank you so much, of course, once again, Mimi, for coming on, being the first guest for my very first episode, my very first podcast as Maeve. Who are you really? Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Thank you for
of
your
course.
time.
Thank you for having me. Again, I am sorry that like it's been a little bit overlappy with like talking, but I know that
Not
you're
at
gonna say
all.
don't
Not at all.
apologize because
Not
I've
at
been doing
all.
it too.
Yeah.
I have such a tendency to over apologize. It's like
Right,
it's like
right.
ingrained in me. But thank you so much for having me as your first guest on your Who Are You Really podcast. I feel honored both as your sis in a hexakai to be here and to get to know you a little more, because I know that we've been super busy with debut, so we've not
Yeah.
really had the chance to have like a full-blown get to know
Yeah.
you conversation for a little bit, but
Yeah.
it's been super fun. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And
No, of
I
course.
hope I did a good enough job being your first guest.
You did wonderful. I think it was wonderful. You could tell it's wonderful because we just, oh yeah, huh? What was the question again? And that's the main point.
Yeah.
The main point is really just to have a good conversation about us and you and me and each other. So thank you so much. Wonderful. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and Mimi, do you have a goodbye saying on your stream at all?
Oh yeah, Slimy.
Oh yeah, Slimy. And from me, seal kisses and ocean wishes. Bye-bye, everybody. We'll both see you. What, do you have a stream tomorrow?
I do. I'm playing Alien Isolation, 9 a.m. GMT. So up and early, we're going to be looking for the xenomorph and getting spooked. Get ready, y'all.
And then I have one as well for about 10 p.m. GMT, the complete opposite, doing some more Firewatch and Delilah fighting. So, alrighty, goodbye, everybody. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Yeah, thank you for hanging with us.